What are you learning in your Episcopal area, in your ministry context, from your experience of dealing with this pandemic? And what do those learnings say to us about the future of the church?
I mean, to us, as I believe to all people across the world, really, this has been strange. It has been a challenging, very demanding year, and at times it's been really tough. I would also say, out of a leadership perspective, it's also been an extremely interesting year. I have seen the church show its full vitality, and it has really it's really taught me that the church shows its vitality when it's under pressure. I'm so grateful to our pastors and deacons and leaders. I've been really impressed and also proud of the way that they have handled the crisis, how quickly they switched to online church, live streaming, messages, devotions, all kinds of creative ministries and ways also to reach out to people and to help and support people in the communities. Over the years, we have had many conversations in my Episcopal area about fresh expressions of church. We've had many seminars on this, but the interesting thing was that now we were all forced to do this. We were all forced to develop fresh expressions of church. We were all forced to think and to act out of the box. And suddenly people realized that it's actually possible to experiment. It's actually possible to try things out. It's not dangerous, and we are learning from this. So there is much that we take with us into the future from that experience. I have been reminded during this time that church is physical. It's physical in many different ways. We come together, we touch, we talk to each other, we hug each other, we sing together, we pray together, we talk, we share communion together, we baptize our children. Church is physical in so many different ways, and when that element is gone, there is so much that we are missing, that we are not able to do. We can only do so much online. It can never replace physical community. I think what we have seen suffer the most from this time has been our children and youth ministry. It's been really, really hard on them. It's been hard for children and youth in general because of the many restrictions. And I think because of the physical element has just not been there. Also, in an increasingly individualistic world, we have been reminded about the importance of fellowship. I actually think many people in our culture have lost that, or didn't realize how important fellowship is. Oftentimes, we don't realize how important things are until we get to a point when we don't have them. And I think that has happened to us.
And that certainly has placed challenges before us, as well as some opportunities for creativity.
Absolutely. But now in these coming months, I think we have to be very, very attentive. I think there will be some windows of opportunity in these coming months where because people are so hungry for fellowship, people are hungry for spirituality. But if we are not ready when those windows open again and we can move around more freely and we can connect and relate more freely, we can miss great opportunities, because those spaces will quickly be filled by other things. So as Christians, as church, we need to pay attention to what is happening in these coming months.
And that's interesting because you're one of the first people that I've heard talk about how to prepare for kind of post-pandemic. In a
Mm,
sense, we're so right now focused on trying to get through this, but there
right.
will be a time when we will be able to safely gather again. What would you suggest, around getting ready for that? If there's if you're anticipating a heightened hunger for spirituality and for fellowship, what would you do to prepare for that ahead of time?
Mm. I would, first of all, I would point um, to individual Christians, individual Methodists, building relationships, connecting with people, and I think they're already doing that. And to expand and build on those connections, creating networks, meeting with people. I think that is a way. I think that is a way to start. I think people will be hungry for spiritual experiences, and they will be hungry for fellowship. And we should begin to plan what we are going to roll out when we can begin to move more freely and we can begin to connect with each other. We will not get back to normal. There is no such thing. We will not get back to where we were before. There will be perhaps a new normal, but we will be able to move freely again, and we will be able to connect. And I think as church, we are experts in those fields. So we should prepare and use that expertise and be ready to offer places of connection, places of spiritual experience, places of fellowship.
It's interesting that you say that in a time where many in our church are thinking about downsizing, the sense that the church is maybe getting smaller, contracting. And what you're describing is preparing to go out.
Mm-hmm.
How do you reconcile those two images?
Well, I think there are people during this time who have unlearned attending church. Some of them may even be former very active participants in the life of the church, but they've unlearned church, or they feel that online worship is more comfortable to them. And I'm sure that online worship will remain a significant part of our ministry in the future. I think that is part of what we're learning during this time. I also think that there will be others, and perhaps people who are not even in touch with the church at this point, who are hungry for what the church has to offer. So while we may lose some, I am quite sure that we will gain more.